Eric Greitens, Navy SEAL. The Warrior's Heart, Becoming a Man of Compassion and Courage. Pages 1 and 2. They're written in italics. Titled, You. You stand in freezing water up to your chest. Every muscle in your body throbs with pain. You are exhausted beyond anything you could ever imagine. And all around you, the night air carries the curses and groans of others who are gutting it out like you, who are trying to survive the night. Most won't. You know the statistics. Maybe 1 in 10 will make it through this week, will survive hours, days of the punishment required to become a Navy SEAL. The water is dark around you, but you can make out lights on the beach. You remember your instructor's words as the sun drifted toward the horizon, their voices booming over the bullhorns. Say goodnight to the sun, gentlemen. Say goodnight to the sun. Tonight is going to be a very, very long night, gentlemen. Tonight is going to be a very, very long night. You imagine another 100 hours of this. You see yourself plunging over and over into the icy water, pulling yourself out again. You imagine endless repetitions of sit-ups, flutter kicks, push-ups, surf torture they call it, when they leave you in freezing water, not just for a few minutes, but for 5 more days. 5 days of struggle and uncertainty, 5 days of physical and emotional torment made to separate the iron-willed from the merely strong. In the distance, a bell sounds 3 times, and then another 3 times. As you hear the bell, you know that another student has chosen to quit. A voice rises and falls, taunting you, inviting you to do the same. Quit now and you can avoid the rush later. Just gets colder. It just gets harder. One by one, sometimes in clusters, other students surrender. All around you, they slog up out of the water, bodies shivering, clothes soaked. They climb up out of the ocean, walk up the sand hill, and they ring the bell. For them, it's the end. The others in your crew struggle along with you, and it's their companionship and their strength that buoys you. You are there for one another. You are a team, and you do not want to quit on your team. But you're bone tired and shivering. You're afraid you'll never make it through the night, let alone an entire week. On shore stands a brightly lit tent. Others are gathered inside, their palms cupping mugs of warm coffee. They're wrapped in blankets, eating hamburgers. They're safe. You could be one of them. All you have to do is rise out of the icy water and walk toward the tent. It's easy. Students have been doing it all night. Just get up, get out, walk toward that bell and quit. Then you could be warm and dry like the others. Then your stomach could be full and you could feel your fingers and toes again. All you have to do is get up, get out, ring the bell. What do you do? I did a little research on the book before I started reading, and on the back of the book it says it very succinctly that this is an adaptation of a memoir called The Heart and the Fist, written by Eric Greitens also. So what we find here is a real life story, his life, and the accounts that he endured, with the emphasis on the fact that we can all make a difference. In this first short chapter, you're going to like this book if you like this military aspect. While it might generally appeal more to boys, I personally love military stories. So this first chapter gripped me. He's in the freezing cold water. I'm from California where the water is frigid. So I can imagine how cold the water could be for just a swim in the afternoon. He's in that water for 5 days. You see that camaraderie, the teamwork that he has with the people with him in the water. And then you hear those people ringing out and you see them drinking the coffee. So we've got all the different senses intrigued here. And then the question talking directly to you, the reader, the last line, what do you do? Do you ring the bell? Do you give up? What do you do? That draws the reader right in. I can't wait to read more. Are you hooked yet? 2. Adventure awaits. Goosebumps rose as my flashlight brightened the words in front of me. Beware and warning. This book is different from other books. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. You are a deep-sea explorer searching for the famed lost city of Atlantis. This is your most challenging and dangerous mission. Fear and excitement are now your companions. At 2 a.m, I was supposed to be asleep, not hidden beneath my blanket, reading until my eyes grew sore and I passed out with my face mashed against a book cover. But as a kid growing up in Missouri, I couldn't get enough of these stories, the ones that put you right into the adventure, that pulled you into a vivid world and then asked you to decide which path to take. Should you investigate the mysterious underwater grotto or stay in your submarine to analyze the odd bubbling rising from the canyon floor? Should you follow the call of the Himalayan Yeti or return to the safety of base camp? Each choice scared and thrilled me. I gobbled the books whole, going back to redo any bad decisions that led to my ultimate demise. Like many American kids, I grew up learning about a world populated by heroes. I read about Pericles, who built democracy in ancient Greece. I read about King Arthur and the medieval knights of the Round Table, who fought sorcerers and giants and protected the weak. And I read about great American heroes, George Washington, who crossed a frozen Delaware River and led America through revolution to victory. Abraham Lincoln, whose words at Gettysburg laid the Civil War dead to rest and called a nation to its duty. Martin Luther King Jr., who announced to the world, "I have a dream," and inspired Americans to struggle for justice and dignity. Chapter 2 is titled Adventure Awaits. It takes us back to when Eric was a young man being raised in Missouri. It takes us to those books. I don't know if you remember them. They were called Choose Your Own Adventure. And he got to decide how the story would go, which decisions would determine what page you turn to. So I remember those from when I was a kid. And then he references a lot of historical and literary characters that are prominent for just about anybody. We've got Pericles in ancient Greece, King Arthur, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Martin Luther King. These are historical figures that will come to mind for just about any age group, and it keeps me interested. Where is he going with this? Why does any of this matter? So with chapter 2, we're jumping back from when he is already in SEAL training, and we're looking at who is the man and how did he become the man who would eventually effect change in the world. And I'm sure he'll have some sort of call to action of how can you be a change in your world. All right. So that's The Warrior's Heart, Becoming a Man of Compassion and Courage. I will say that my 7th grade son read this and he loved it. And he read it cover to cover. And this, again, is coming from a young man who does not enjoy reading as much as his mother does. He started begrudgingly, but he finished enthusiastically. And I hope that this, too, will hook you as a reader.